It is 2025 and gaming has never visually looked better. We got photorealistic shooters, bloated live service games with endless grinds. We even got titles that can take up to 150 gigabytes only to leave you bored within the first 10 minutes. The industry is pushing graphics, budgets, and file sizes to the limits, and yet somehow we still get a ton of games that feel lifeless, static, charmless, and just plain boring. And yet, among all that noise, one game released way back in 2009 still thrives. Not because of any new engine update, not because of any flashy trailers, not because of constant DLC being released, and not because there are 500 microtransactions that you can spend your money on and you can buy $500 skins, but because the game is just simply fun. 15 years later, Left 4 Dead 2 still has thousands of daily players constantly modding the game and playing the game. So today we're going to talk about why this old school zombie shooter still holds up so well in 2025 and what makes it so good and why it might just be one of the most timeless co-op shooter games ever made. Let's start with core gameplay because Left 4 Dead 2 nails it in a way that very few games ever have. It's tight, it's focused, it's fast paced, and chaotic. And even after all these years, it feels just as satisfying as the day that it launched. You drop into a map with three teammates. You pick up your gear, whether that be guns, melee weapons, some pipe bombs, some Molotovs, whatever it may be. You're running, you're gunning, you're slashing, you're pushing zombies around, you're trying to survive from one safe house to the next safe house. And it keeps its gameplay as simple as possible while keeping it very satisfying. There are no crafting menus slowing you down. There's no over designed UI that's all over the screen and all over the place. There's no throwing stats in your face. There's no ability trees asking you to grind for a few hundred hours. Just you, your team, a pile of guns, a lot of ammo, and a city swarming with zombies. And the weapons, they hold up pretty well. The guns in this game feel good to use and are satisfying, and you can feel the weight of each shot, especially as you shoot zombies and you can see the damage on the bodies of the zombies as you shoot them. And the addition of melee weapons as a new layer of depth compared to the original game. Chainsaws tear through hordes like butter and are really fun to use. The shovel or the frying pan is just plain hilarious, and the thunk effect each time you hit a zombie is just fun. I mean, they're not the most practical weapons to use, but they are fun. Now let's talk about the AI director. You know, a lot of games have random spawns or just endless waves of enemies coming after you, but in Left 4 Dead 2, the AI director was and still is on another level. It doesn't just spawn zombies, it tracks your health, how well you're doing, and changes the pace depending on if you're struggling or if you're just having a little walk in the park because it's just kind of easy. It chooses what items to spawn and chooses if you get pain pills or med kits and medical cabinets, and it also decides when to spawn special infected and what special infected to spawn. Every playthrough is a little different as the AI director reacts to you. It builds tension, it lets you breathe just long enough to think, you know what, hey, this is kind of going pretty well right now. And then all of a sudden, a tank will rush out at you, smack you in the face, fling you off the roof of a hospital, and then you're kind of salty and a little upset. The pacing is also really good. There are peaks and valleys, moments where it slows down and lets you explore your surroundings, only to ramp back up when the music kicks in and the infected come pouring out of every alley, every window, just everywhere in general, trying to eat your guts. The pacing and the AI director are two of the main reasons why no two runs feel exactly the same. One moment you're laughing with friends after a close call because you almost got jumped by a hunter or you almost got knocked down right before the safe house. The next, you're all screaming at each other because someone startled the witch right before the safe house door, or a tank came out of nowhere and just started smashing you into the ground or throwing cars at you. In a world where most games are bloated with unnecessary systems for their genre, Left 4 Dead 2 reminds us of something very important, that sometimes simple gameplay is fun, and sometimes that's all it takes to win. There's no battle pass, there's no login rewards, there's no $20 to $100 microtransactions to get some skins, there's no time wasters, there's just pure distilled gameplay. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why it holds up so well. Not to mention, the game has a whole lot of charm, something a lot of games seem to lack nowadays. At its heart, Left 4 Dead 2 is a co-op game, and it's one of the best ever made. You need your teammates. This isn't like Call of Duty or some other game where you can just go full lone wolf. If your friend or you gets grabbed by a smoker, you'll have to save them. Someone gets pinned by a hunter, you have to be there to save them because they can't save themselves. With 4-player co-op is a perfect party game, whether you're with longtime friends or you're making new ones online. There's no inventory micromanagement, there's no complex mechanics to learn. You can just jump right into Left 4 Dead 2 and start playing. And even in solo, you can still have quite a lot of fun. Maybe not as much fun, but you can still have some fun. And the bots aren't completely terrible. And if you want better bots, you can mod the game and make it so that they're even more useful. But nothing beats 4 friends shouting at each other while running around blasting zombies. There's also a ton of modes in the game, and Versus mode is one of the most popular modes. It's competitive, it's chaotic, and it's a really good asymmetrical multiplayer mode. You play both sides, you play the survivors and you play the infected, and it becomes a 4v4 match of ambushes, timing, and coordination, and probably friends yelling at each other trying to win. If you play as the survivors, then you have to try and make your way through the map to the next safe house just as you normally do in the regular game modes. But these special infected are actual players and not just AI, which can make them more deadly and difficult to deal with. If you play as the infected, then you need to try and work together with your team to make combinations and plans to catch the survivors off guard and take them out. It's a test of map knowledge, communication, and creative strategy, and the best part is it's still very active. Even in 2025, people still play Versus mode every single day. There are also plenty of different other modes if you want to try a new thing. Like there's mutation mode, which has a variety of different mutations that you can play levels with that changes the gameplay, like only specials, or it's always foggy, or melee weapons only, or lots more like that. I mean, there are a ton of different mutations that you can choose from. There's way too many to go over, and there's a ton of new ones that you can check out all the time. And then you have survival mode, which is pretty simple. It's just trying to survive as long as you possibly can and getting the best time possible. There is also realism mode, which removes the survivor aura usually shown around players through walls, and it also removes halos for items, or weapons only appear if you are close enough to do their action, such as grabbing a weapon or pressing a switch. Realism mode also includes a damage penalty for body shots. Rescue closets are removed, making the defibrillator the only way to revive dead survivors until you reach the safe house, where they will respawn for the next round. Witches will kill you instantly on any difficulty except easy, and no longer receive bonus damage from point blank shotgun blast. Then there is Scavenge mode, which is a competitive gameplay mode in Left 4 Dead 2. It is a round-based game mode in which survivors have a limited amount of time to find up to 21 gas cans to fill up a generator or car while fighting against player-controlled special infected, much like in the Versus game mode. Games consist of 1, 3, or 5 rounds total, though not all of them may be played. After all the survivors are incapacitated, the time runs out, or survivors collect all of the gas cans. The teams switch sides after that, and whichever team collects the most gas cans in a single round wins that round. If both teams collect the same number of gas cans, then the team that collected them the fastest will win that round. And then there is a few different variations like Realism Scavenger and Realism Versus. Basically, this game has so many different ways that you can play it, which makes it highly replayable. Left 4 Dead 2's modding scene is nothing short of legendary. You can play through maps based on The Lord of the Rings, Minecraft, Resident Evil, or you can play more goofy maps like the Krusty Krab or a lot of other meme maps. You can also replace any special infected or even normal infected, like you can replace the tank with Thomas the Tank Engine, Shrek, or even Terry Crews while he yells at you and throws Old Spice at you. You can change everything from sounds to skins to campaigns. The Steam Workshop is stacked with custom campaigns that rival Valve's official ones. Some are goofy, some are terrifying, some are just really cool, and some are even better designed than newer AAA games. In 2025, the modding community is what keeps the game alive. New maps, challenge modes, graphic overhauls, it's endless. Do you want a realism run with high difficulty mutations? It's there. Do you want a full meme run where everything is as goofy as possible and you got things screaming in your ear and goofy catchphrases and stuff like that? Then you can do that. You can do whatever you want in this game. You can make the game look or sound however you want. And you can even have a blue gun without paying $20 extra. I know, that's crazy, right? Left 4 Dead 2 launched with 5 new campaigns, plus all of the original ones from Left 4 Dead 1. That's a ton of content, and they're all unique in set pieces and themes, and honestly, that's something newer sequels seem to hardly ever do that I think is just so stupid. Way more sequels should include content from the first game. Now, obviously that doesn't work for every game, but if you have a multiplayer / co-op game, including the levels / maps and content from the first game, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. Like, if you have a first game with a ton of maps and it's a multiplayer game, why does the second game not have those same maps? Just add more maps. Just have more maps, more content. But no, nowadays you usually get cut content or content that was either promised and not there, or just less content. From escaping a shopping mall in Dead Center to an explosive finale at the Dark Carnival to an all-out swamp madness of Swamp Fever, each one has memorable set pieces and pacing. There really isn't any cutscenes, but the storytelling is subtle, and the character banter, environmental storytelling, and design makes you learn about the world by just playing through the game. And the finales of each campaign are absolute chaos, but in the best way possible. Every campaign ends in a big cinematic showdown that will test your limits, and sometimes there's a lot of explosions. One of the biggest things about Left 4 Dead 2 in 2025 is that the community is still here. There's active lobbies, there's new mods, there's servers running 24/7, and you can make your own server that's running all the time if you want to. You can have friends hop on and play anytime. There are even organized versus events going on. People are still creating brand new maps and mods. This game just refuses to die because the fans just won't let it. Valve may not update Left 4 Dead 2 often or hardly ever at all, but the community maintains it and constantly adds new content. And honestly, what more could a game studio ask for than a community as dedicated and as great as the Left 4 Dead 2 community? So in 2025, with all the new shooters and zombie games we've seen, and even some competitors to Left 4 Dead 2 directly, Left 4 Dead 2 still comes out on top. Not because it's flashy, not because it's new, but because it knows exactly what it wants to be and it executes it perfectly. It's pure fun, it's chaotic teamwork, it's unforgettable moments, and even after all these years, it still brings people together to play a game and just have some fun. If you haven't played Left 4 Dead 2 in a while, I recommend that you reinstall it, boot it up, grab a few friends, and get ready to have some good old-fashioned zombie blasting fun. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you think about Left 4 Dead 2 and this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you next time.